Yes. So, hello and welcome to what I want to make the uncut bonus episode of Ask a Rennie for a year in the life of a Rennie, shortened as RenLife. Introduce yourselves.
You want to make it?
Yes.
Well, it might not happen.
It might
It
not
might not happen.
but I want it to.
Okay. Sure, why not?
We'll try.
See what happens.
Stranger
Okay.
things have happened.
So introduce yourselves.
I am
To our viewers.
Jared.
And who do you play? Or what do you do at Fair?
I am a stage crew person. I'm a stage monkey. I'm a dancing monkey. I go around and helping out all the stages, make sure that they're running all good.
I'm Natalia. I'm the Royal Executioner's daughter. I walk around with a giant axe and freak people out.
I'm Jerome the Fool, also called Jero the Jester. I'm a stage act on one of the stages that he has to watch every now and then. I juggle, do all kinds of circus weirdness, and mostly drive the rest of the cast insane.
And you guys know me. I'm Hale. I play Bess Faraday, one of the Joust Bunnies. So we got 3 different questions that came in through Tumblr. The first one, the Acorn Princess asked, when did the...
I like that name.
Where? Yeah, she's awesome. She didn't join Fair, even though I told her to, but we love her anyway.
The hell,
She's
princess?
Are you related to the King of the Squirrels?
So,
YouTubers will get that reference.
What about Squirrel Girl?
Squirrel Girl.
Yes.
that's your new name. If you ever join Fair, you're going to be Squirrel Girl. I'm sorry.
It's a thing.
Okay, so the Acorn Princess asked, where did the inspiration for your character come from? You have a pretty interesting story about how your character came to be.
It's interesting, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, my first year, I was technically the farmer's daughter, but then they decided that I needed to be paired up with somebody because I was only 17. So I, by luck, got paired up with the executioner at the time, and everybody just decided to assume that I was actually his daughter. So throughout the rest of the fair season, I slowly stole his axe from him, and therefore I became the Royal Executioner's daughter. It's great.
Stole it so many times that you keep it after a while.
Oh yeah, he totally gave it to me because he moved away to Vegas. He abandoned me. It's great.
So are you blood related or adopted?
Character was originally, she was adopted, but then I decided to change to blood related. That way nobody at Fair could try and say, well, technically you wouldn't be the next executioner because you're not related by blood.
Makes sense.
So now we're blood related.
So now you're running around asking people to draw blood.
Yes.
Alright, okay, so the inspiration of my character goes back a ways, like a decade almost, at this point.
You're old.
Oh, shut up. Oh my god, be
Hazel?
quiet. Okay, I was 12. The wheels started turning when I was 12. I'm 23. I am not that old.
But you've only been at this fair, for 3 years.
True, but I've been Jero the Jester for almost 7 years.
Just clarifying.
Yeah, so at age 12 was the first time I went to our fair and saw my very first juggling act, and that's when I decided that's what I wanted to do with my entire life, and basically be a real jester. So I spent a lot of time training, practicing, until I started doing shows as Jero the Jester at any other event outside of the fair, until I finally got my chance to audition to join our fair and became the jester there. But the thing was, I couldn't go by Jero the Jester at our fair. I still can't because of copyright issues. If I go by Jero the Jester at fair, Royal Fairs owns the name, and, well, I don't want to give them the name, so I have to change it to Jerome the Fool, and it's so basically the entire character is almost one big parody of my actual non-fair persona, because I'll have fans from other shows come to our fair and go, oh hey, you're Jero the Jester, and I go, no I'm not, that's that doppelganger who lives way down that way in the face paint, that crazy bastard down that way, that's not me, it's totally not me, and I don't know, I just kind of buy it for the most part, or I'll just ignore it and go, yeah, no, it's me.
So mine's pretty similar. I decided in 5th grade that I wanted to be a Joust Bunny. And contrary to what some of you Hell on Wheels people have told me, I honest to God had someone tell me this. No, Bess Faraday came before Louise Ellison. I don't give a shit about what anybody says. I came first.
Wait, the show Hell on
The
Wheels?
show Hell on Wheels. Louise Ellison, the lesbian journalist.
Oh,
I seriously had
okay.
someone be like, aren't you basically the same thing because your character is a journalist? No. No, it's not. I came first. But
You're not bitter at all.
that no, I
So
love
it's
her
a little
character.
animosity.
I love love her character and I love that show. Someone just like thought that I ripped it off, and that wasn't nice. But yeah, journalist was really just inspired by the fact that I really, really wanted to have an excuse to run around and ask people questions about themselves.
Though,
Because
to be fair, if you were going to be ripped off of somebody, it's not a terrible rip-off.
it's really not. Like, I love her character. I love that show.
They could have been like, oh, you're just a poor man's Rita Skeeter or something, and that would have been an insult. You know.
That's rough.
That would have sucked.
Yeah.
The past 2 years, I've been the good journalist. It's
Yeah.
only this year that I get to be the corrupted, evil journalist.
I almost wish you were more like Jim Jameson from Spider-Man. Bring me Spider-Man! But just some other character.
Pictures
He's a
of these-
menace!
Who would be her Spider-Man though?
Best character in the Spider-Man series.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Oh man, who
like,
would be like your Spider-Man equivalent in that
I don't
respect?
know.
For fair, if it had to be anybody.
Niblick and Mashy. Bring me those pictures of Niblick and Mashy.
Those heralds are menaces.
They have to be
Menacing.
doing something wrong. They're from a town called My Bum.
Outsiders from my bum.
That's... Yeah.
That context with no explanation.
That would be
None.
so
Too
bad.
dead fair.
Next question.
Yeah. You don't. Do you have a character?
I used to have a character. I used to be a merchant. But this year I'm having to go through a character change, so right now I'm kind of having an identity crisis. But it's probably going to be something more along the lines of a former ship hand.
Nice.
So,
Grungy Hobbit pirate.
grungy
Hobbit
hobbit pirate. That'll probably be
Because
somewhere
why
in
not?
there.
So, semi-precious me asked, have you ever had a patron take it too far, as in being creepy or drunk or rude? No, you're excited about this one.
I have
Oh, I got a good one.
Pick your favorite.
I don't have a favorite. I don't like either of those instances.
Share them with the people so they can know what not to do and how to not be a dick.
Okay,
out
so
there.
the first time was actually my first year, and it was the first. This is what got me paired up with the executioner. So I'm walking around by myself, and some guy comes up to me, and this is towards the end of the fair day. He just comes up to me, and he asks, like, we start talking a little bit, and it's a patron, so you're supposed to be nice to patrons and happy, yay. And he asked, like, can I walk with you for a little bit, and so we can continue talking, because I couldn't just remain stationary for too long. I had to continue making my rounds. So I said sure, being the idiot that I was, and he continued to walk with me for 20 minutes. The conversation would lull, and he would try to pick it back up again. Like, we'd walk in silence for a few seconds, and all of a sudden we'd go, so, how about that weather? I had to get this one to save me. Yeah, distraction as I ran away.
He's very good at that.
You have distractions, call the juggler, it's fine.
Then the second one would probably be this past year. This really, really drunk patron. If you ever have a weapon at fair and it's not connected to your belt, keep a very tight grip on it. This drunk woman at fair, when I wasn't really paying attention and didn't have a tight grip on my axe, ripped it from my hands and swung my axe at her husband. Now, my axe, just so
Oh,
you
boy.
guys know,
It's coming out.
Not small.
Oh, jeez.
this is my axe.
This is for size reference?
A drunk woman took this and swung it at her husband because I wasn't holding on to it tight enough. That was a fun day.
And it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's about 20 pounds or so.
Patrons can't resist things. We had a day at the tilt yard, and it was the year before I started working there, and I was still a patron, and two drunk guys jumped into the arena, grabbed two of the lances out of
Oh wow.
the weapons racks, and then ran at each other. And they
I
got all the way across the fair before Ivan finally flipped all the shit.
fair?
Not across the fair. The field. They got all the way across the field before Ivan jumped in.
Yeah, because if you're running across a 30-acre fair drunk holding a lance, you deserve a medal or something because that is
Seriously.
impressive.
I'm not even mad. How'd you do that?
I remember I actually won a little award for that first one, helping you out with that one.
You did.
Yeah.
We had these
That
little
I
things
wasn't
called
even there.
business.
I wasn't even there to accept it. Like, I was there doing a spot for Fox News at the front door, so I totally Tony Stark's the whole ceremony.
Nice.
It was great.
Do you have any fun instances of patrons harassing your stages?
nothing specific, but over and over again, one, parents do not keep track of their kids. They will run up on the stage, they will just take things and just let them do what kids do when they're unsupervised, which is really annoying, especially on stages which aren't always safe, like mud stage. Outside of that, nothing too specific with patrons. Like if somebody's drunk, like we're not the group, like we're not really part of street, so we don't really stay there with them. Like we go get security and they get escorted out.
Yeah, all the drunk people who cause me issues always seem to just disappear by the time security gets there anyway, so I kind of gave up on that.
Yeah, that's when we come in and we actually like get somebody and like you don't see them later.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral of the story is don't be a jerk or you will get kicked out.
And don't
be a
touch
jerk.
our things.
What was
Don't
your...
touch props.
Oh, man.
Watch your children.
Yeah. Mine is interesting. Happened last year. So like I said earlier, I have a stage show at one of the stages in the front of the World Pavilion, and usually around my 2:30 show, things get really unpredictable, or I'm so tired that I just ad-lib the whole thing, I wing it. This was one of those times where it just got really unpredictable. It was we had a weekend called Pirate Invasion Weekend. This is where we encourage patrons to come out in their finest pirate garb, and we do costume contests and stuff, and we had 2 pirate costume contests. We had an adult one, we had a kids one. The kids one was in the morning, the adult one came after, I think around 2, so just before my show. My show usually followed a contest, so when the contest was over, I'm doing my show, and there was a bit that I would do where I would need like 5 volunteers for one sketch, and a lot of the adult pirates had stayed, so I bring one of them up for a bit, and he's definitely drunk, but he's functioning drunk, so I'm like, we'll make this work, we'll totally make this work. So I'm working with him, and we're having fun with it, and then I move on to my next piece where I tell him to go back into the audience and find 4 more people. And instead, I said, go find 4 more pirates. So this drunk guy staggers off, and I find out later that he didn't come to the fair alone today. He came back with 4 other pirates. 4 other very drunk pirates. All of them were part of the same crew. They were totally in on it. And and they were in character, and one of them was the captain, and the drunk captain got pissed off that I was trying to keep my show in order, but he's like, no, this is my crew now, and I'm like, but it's my stage, but it's my crew, but it's mine, and he was bigger than me, so I'm like, okay, so I lost, at one point I just sat on the throne behind my stage and just waited for it all to die down. I'm like, I'm not making any money off of this show today. And they didn't leave for like 15 minutes, and there was no getting them back. And once they got back, the show was completely wrecked, and I didn't make a dime off of it. And I found out later that it wasn't just a random band of 5 patrons who came dressed as pirates. No, they were a chunk of the Arizona Dread Fleet. They were like diehard pirates.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't so much of like just drunk patrons. It was a drunk version of the real fucking deal in terms of legitimate pirates that hang out in Arizona.
Dread Fleet, control your people.
Where was your stage manager who's supposed to kick those people off your stage?
Technically, I don't have a stage manager. He was busy at the time. Because my stage is so small, they had Kobe, who does Fairhaven, because mine was so small, he would bounce back between mine if it looked like I needed something, but because of the angle of the stage, when he'd look around the corner of Fairhaven Theater and look at mine, he couldn't see what was happening. He saw me and like one other person. He couldn't see what was going on, so I was kind of high and dry on the whole thing and just wound up making, I think I got
Fairhaven will bounce between 3 different
I got like a
stages.
couple pity tips, but that was about it at the end of the show. The ones that toughed it out and were like, we know, you tried, we just all went to how those pirates came. And I'm like, yeah, that's pirates,
just
man.
Now we get that every day this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know.
Oh no, if that happens though, if our cast members that are pirates think, oh, we're gonna mutiny Jerome's stage, oh hell no. I want to fight back this time.
We had a fun, this is more of a patron just having fun, and Mama Bunny was not so happy about it, but I thought it was great. We had a guy who came and sat in Sir Maldron's second section, and our Joust Bunny over there, she's our Mama Bunny, she plays Catherine of Niebling, and she's usually pretty tame and pretty nice compared to the rest of us. And she just had this one guy who apparently was sick of her spiel, so he stood up and stood right in front of her box and did the entire "Are you not entertained?" speech from Gladiator, and then when his movie lines ran out, just ad-libbed the rest of it himself. And he was actually really good, but it was still kind of rude for him to totally steal her show.
A little bit, but I can see how that would have some entertainment value.
It was pretty funny. My crowd and I are watching going, shit, someone give that dude a job. So, our last question from I Am a Gadfly.
What the fuck is a gadfly?
Gadfly?
That's, ask them. I am a Gadfly. Please put in the comment section below what inspired your character name.
I'm Gandalf was taken.
Gadfly's Gandalf when he drunk text. I am Gadfly the Grey. What the hell?
Fly, you fools!
To the nearest fruit pile. So she says, tell me the craziest story you have about your fellow Rennies. Would you like to kick this one off?
Do I have...
You hang out with the crazy one.
I do hang out with the crazy ones. Okay, so my special thing is I hang out with a lot of the national acts, the ones that travel in from the fair, the ones that get to live the dream and go from festival to festival and perform year-round.
Don't tell me stories that's going to get me kicked off the internet.
I'm not going to go first, then you go ahead and do this. I'm going to think of another one. How do you get kicked off?
I'm going to go off in left field because this is still one of my favorite stories. This is not an actual stage person. One of the things I work is the Heath, where we have all birds. The birds are amazing. They're fun, and it's really fun when they do things they're not supposed to do. And one of my favorites is the vulture, who is a lot of fun. And he is trained to notice the color pink. So we always do a demonstration. There's a pink egg. He goes and finds the egg, and there's food inside. So one of the things that we have at fair is a pink snow cone. And not too very far off the stage, there was a wee young lad, and he had a pink snow cone. The vulture found it. It was priceless. The kid was a little sad at first, but things were okay. The parents were laughing. Everyone was like, "What is going on?" He found the color pink. We sell pink snow cones, and you wouldn't think about it because normally we just watch out for meat because they're all birds of prey. They all go after meat.
And there are dumbasses who still bring turkey legs to a bird show.
They bring turkey legs.
And then they stare at you when you ask them to
chicken
put it away, and they're like, "What do you mean put it away? It's a birds of prey show, yeah? It's a big hunking thing of meat." She's like, "Meat."
Your 2-year-old, that's meat. Watch him.
The birds do not eat children. Don't go around telling people that our birds eat children.
They don't eat children. One of them does like snow cones, though. If it's pink.
So, my favorite crazy Rennie story, aside from the one that I already answered on Tumblr about Prince Gregory, is probably 2 years ago. We had this massive storm, absolutely massive, and my entire section got flooded out. You couldn't get anywhere near the stands because it was just this giant mud puddle. So we ended up putting caution tape around my section, and I co-bunnied with Mama Bunny, and we had the guy who, I don't know what his character name was 2 years ago, but for the scenario, he was Merrick, who married the princess.
Oh, Eric.
And is that what his?
Eric, yeah,
that was
Eric,
his character name, though.
Oh no,
I don't want to tell other
character name
people.
is
I don't want
Merrick.
to tell
Merrick.
other people's names on the internet without
Because they
their
know
permission.
because Eric is not
Without their
is such a
permission.
non-ambiguous
I don't
name.
know. I'm trying to be nice, but he
They're gonna
ended
Google
up.
Renfest Eric now.
Oh my gosh. But he ended up climbing over the dais where all of the royals sit for the joust into the stands that you couldn't access from the ground because of the mud puddle.
Oh, nice.
So while every other seating section of the joust was totally full because the sun had finally come out, he was the only one sitting in what's usually my section. And as soon as Sir Maldron came out and the Mistress of Arms introduced him, he took off his shirt and is the only person there going, "Woo! Sir Maldron! Yeah!" And I ended up getting a lot of complaints from patrons saying, well, why can't we sit over there if he sits over there? And I had to explain like 5 times that he works for the Queen, but it was so worth it because that was amazing.
I can't count the number of times I've seen Merrick running around with his shirt off during a show day.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Definitely need more time to share stories.
I don't know if I have an interesting one. I think possibly one of the funniest ones was watching our friend Amy run around confused because everybody kept congratulating her on her prenuptials. Now this means that she's getting married. See, what had happened is that she doesn't keep track of her costume very well, and she lost a sleeve. This one picked up her sleeve.
Kind of a dick.
And instead of giving it back to her, decided to hang on to it and continue to tell all cast members to congratulate her on her prenuptials. For the next 2 weeks, she was congratulated. It was great, especially because, like, during that first day, he gave it back to her and had this whole spiel about...
I dropped to my knees and I was like, I can't accept this favor. We're just 2 ships passing in the night. It's not meant to be, in front of like the entire Queen's Court and a whole crowd of people behind him.
And she turned about as red as a tomato. It was awesome.
Jared, 2 guys last year that we tried to marry off to their friends, the patrons. Towards the end of the day, there was a group. There was 4 patrons, 2 guys and 2 girls, and we tried to marry off the 2 guys to Amy and to her friend.
During the mornings when I perform, warming up for my stage, I spend a lot of time running back and forth in the same stretch of lane with a national performer named Cameron Tomil, also known as Medium of Barely Balanced. And I think, it was Brad, Gravedigger Brad, who asked, if I knew him very well. I said, no, we talk every now and then, we hang out. And after the show was over, you came with me and Brad to that small, what was Mexican food we found?
Yeah, it was the Mexican
nearby. I don't know what it was called.
That wasn't very good.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. But, Big, he's here.
Yay, food!
But so I think it was you or Brad. It was like, how many nationals do you actually know, and how much time do you spend with them? And I listed the ones that I actually do spend time with, and I said, well, actually, Cameron was one that I didn't really get to hang out with a whole lot. And I was saying, like, from what I've seen, I have spent with him, he's like one of the coolest, nicest guys I've ever met. He's just one of the coolest dudes to chill out with. I have never seen a more animated Pixar-like individual in the entirety of the fair. And then all of a sudden, behind me, I hear this gross, cartoonish sob. And I turn behind me, and it's fucking Cameron right there. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. And he gets up and leaves.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he was there with Margaret, and they were eating right behind us the whole damn time, and didn't say a word.
Aww.
Yeah.
And then got up and left. And I was like, I saw him the next morning, and I was like, so how much of your, Mexican food got waterlogged with all those fucking crocodile tears, Cameron?
Can I walk back in front of the camera now?
So, yeah, you can come back
You
in.
can now be part of the tribe.
We're just gonna say, thank you. So, thank you everybody for participating in this, and I would love to do one of these, once a month, and just rotate different performers. So, if you have ever wanted to ask anything of a Rennie, crazy, serious, whatever you want, and want the live feed reactions to all of your questions, rather than just my tailored answers written through my Tumblr askbox.
You mean like the gadfly? What is a gadfly?
Yes.
I'm very confused.
So if you
You can
have
tell us on the fly.
So if you have any questions, or you are going to inform us as to what a gadfly is, leave a message in the comment section below, or put it in my ask box on Tumblr. Anything else you guys want to leave with our lovely viewers before we go enjoy our much-deserved Chinese food?
She didn't tell us that we were doing this until she got here.
I told Jero we were
You
doing
told
this.
me.
You told Jero.
I
You
was
didn't tell the
with
I
person.
tell the jester.
I was under the
I see
assumption
how
that
it is.
everybody else knew. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have
See?
horrible communication skills.
Okay, this is
I
going
work
to be a
IT.
new thing.
I'm used to being the last to know.
This is going to be a great thing. We can film these Ask a Rennie videos without telling people except for 5 minutes before. Hey, you want to do this video?
I'm just going to assume every single
Okay.
time I see you that you're recording something now.
Okay. So we will
Camera's
see
hidden
you.
on your person or something.
Yeah. Totally. So I don't know which episode I'm going to shoot next, but we'll see you next time. Smile, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Smile.